This is Newark Liberty International Airport in Newark, New Jersey. Hello YouTube fans, my name is Leo, and welcome back to another video by the Supersonic Lion. In today's video, we're going to be discussing one of the biggest mysteries raging today, but unfortunately also one of the biggest tragedies raging today. Before we do any of that, let me encourage you guys to both hit that subscribe button and leave a like and a comment on this video, because doing all those things is going to show my YouTube community that my channel has some very cool information like this. Anyways, let's get going. So imagine yourself sitting or standing, whatever, in an airport lounge and watching all the planes that come and go. And unless you're a big plane buff tracking everything down, you're probably not going to remember every individual flight's flight number, destination, and plane type. But if you were at Malaysia's Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, the capital of the country, on the morning of March 8th, 2014, there is almost certainly going to be one plane you will definitely remember for life, which is Malaysian Airlines Flight 370, a Boeing 777 with 227 passengers bound for Beijing, China, departing at 12:42 in the morning that day. And at first sight, when you look at it, or would have looked at it, it was just any one of the old planes departing from Kuala Lumpur Airport, and all the while, the air traffic control, the ATC, was closely monitoring it, trying to get it to go in the air, and towards, in this case, the South China Sea and Vietnam, towards its destination of Beijing. And it did that, except after it went to the air, the ATC stopped looking at it temporarily, as it watched other planes come and go to the airport to make sure nothing happened with them. Except 38 minutes later, when it looked back, it was already a little bit too late, because the plane made very weird patterns with its radar across the South China Sea, Ottoman Sea, Malay Peninsula, and several islands, before all of a sudden, it disappeared from radar altogether, all within a fourth of the hour. What happened to it? Well, thing is, we don't know. But what we can do is make possible speculation about it based on what we do know. First of all, one thing we can say, unfortunately for certain, is that nobody who was on that plane still was around, so the families of those people, unfortunately, do not have their loved ones with me, which is very unfortunate. But anyways, let's talk about what we think happened to the plane. Now, first of all, the radar gives us very important clues, because all of its weird movements happen within an hour. This can't just be, first of all, a ridiculous event. Let's say a meteorite just dropping the plane down, because that would move it from the radar automatically, God knows later. Nor was it a pilot murder-suicide, because again, that would have dropped the plane in a very specified location. This plane didn't do any of that. It just dropped from the radar near the Indian Ocean, going south in the general direction of Antarctica. However, it couldn't have gone to Antarctica because the plane doesn't have so much gas that it can go so far. And speaking of gas here, I should tell you that the gas of the plane only made a very specific circle about where the plane could possibly be. The circle extended north to Mongolia and south across the Indian Ocean, but the plane couldn't be in Mongolia because, as I already mentioned, the plane was going south. It had to be in the Indian Ocean. Another clue was that people found remains of the plane on the nearby Andaman Islands, so it has to be in the Indian Ocean. That's the only place that it could have been. But you'll be surprised to hear this about the oceans. Well, maybe you're not surprised, but the thing is, only 20% of the world's oceans have actually been explored to the seafloor. Yes, people have ridden boats many times on the oceans, but we don't actually know what's in the ocean. We are pretty sure the deepest point in all the oceans is the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean, but other than that, we know nothing about the oceans. Especially we don't know where exactly in the Indian Ocean did Flight 370 do whatever it did and blow up. Nobody knows that for certain. Maybe the officials do, but don't want to tell it, but at least I don't know what to explain it here. Now, why might this have happened? One possibility is the pilot murdering himself on the plane, and then the plane just crashing out when it had no gas, because this plane just went down vertically based on radar evidence. It was not a controlled water landing, so nothing in this was intentional. Why do we think this pilot, by the way, his name is Zachary Ahmed Shah, did that? Maybe it's because the reports say that his 3 daughters and wife disappeared the day before. or that a politician named Anwar Ibrahim, who was an opposition politician that he supported, was arrested the day before. We don't know why that might have happened or if this happened, but at least we have some evidence that say that this might have happened. As we already mentioned, this cannot be because of, I don't know, a meteorite, but what it can be because is this plane being shot down by a different plane, because unfortunately there are active war zones in the area that could have made that happen. Additionally, any hijackers might have considered bringing this plane to a very special or maybe infamous location that I have talked about in numerous one of my videos in the past years, North Korea. In fact, I even made a video about just that happening when hijackers attempted to bring Japanese Airlines Flight 351 from Japan to North Korea without success on March 31st, 1970. And you see, that is a big destination for many hijackers. And by the way, the flight would definitely have had enough gas to get there, so that's certainly possible. Another possible cause is a cockpit fire in the plane. And we don't know why that would have happened, but if it did, that could certainly explain why the plane flew vertically. Even though emergency officers started working on figuring this out the morning after and kept working for all this time, 12 years, including recently opening up an investigation just recently, nothing was found at all. We have no idea where Flight 370 possibly could be, and I am not sure if I'll ever find out in my lifetime. Anyways, that's all we have for this video. Bye. See you next time, and comment, like, and subscribe for more.